Now it says, okay, that's strange. Huh. I don't know why I was doing that. Weird. Anyway, I'll have to double check. But it's, my point is that I'm recording it, I'm going to post it, but I'm posting it in YouTube. Now all of a sudden, you know, if you're worried about intellectual property because, you know, I don't want to necessarily use the school's computers to write a book or to discuss specific topics. Maybe I want to do some just podcast or something about the topic that I teach, but not related to Northwood. Well, if I use Northwood's computers or do it during my office hours or something at Northwood, now we have a question of who actually owns that, right? Well, if I'm using YouTube and I don't have a copyright on something, who actually owns it once I put it out there? I've never looked. Who owns that? You know, and the other thing is if it's a legal issue, let's say something happened where I made a claim that something was safe and it wasn't, and YouTube allows it to be out there, I could claim, well, that's their information, they own it, and I could lose all responsibility potentially, right? It was their responsibility to catch it. So, you know, my point is that it's collecting, all this stuff is collecting data. Algorithms are recognizing all of this. It's all artificial intelligence. They're making decisions based on all of this, but we're lacking social responsibility in how we select things and use things. And that social responsibility falls on not just the companies doing it, but it falls on us, right? As consumers. And consumers having the ability to say, yeah, even though that product seems very valuable and useful to me, I think I'll continue working hard because I don't want my privacy to be taken from me, right? I don't want my information to be bought and sold. If I want to give my information away, I'll give it to somebody. If I don't want to give it away, I'll keep it for myself. You know, or guess what? You can pay me for it. If Google is saying that information is worth so much money, why are they not reimbursing us for that data? You know, they're doing the same exact thing banks do. Banks, they take your money, they invest your money, they make money off of your money, but they don't give back to you anything. Years ago, they used to give interest back on your money because they were making money off of your money. Anymore, they don't, right? Or they give such a small percentage it doesn't matter. I saw something recently, even music-wise, because remember how I was talking about hi-fi music and stuff. Some streaming companies pay more than other streaming companies to the artist based on the bit rate and everything that's being listened to for them. I've seen them where they were up to 1 cent per bit or whatever, all the way down to like 0.0001 cent type of thing. So it's like, okay, well, why would an artist want to put it out there on these platforms, etc.? And you know, maybe there's algorithms involved in all of that and some intelligence stuff out there that, okay, well, if you hear it on this service, maybe you will buy it, you know, and maybe I get a higher percentage of the sale of my music instead of the streaming. So there's all kinds of stuff out there, but algorithms, artificial intelligence, that's pretty much what I have to say about it. The text is going to talk about it in a little more detail. They have their own opinions on certain things. All authors do, and I I don't recall if I saw anything that was politically motivated in the text. I don't think so. I just tell people use your own common sense and judgment, but understand what artificial intelligence is. If you don't understand what that is, then maybe you shouldn't be dabbling in it. I don't know. So, but yeah, and I'm glad you said what you said, and I'm glad he said what he said, because that's where the conversation starts, right? There's no right or wrong answer, and I'm trying to remember if it's this link or that link. Depends on which one I clicked to renew. Let's actually look at what they said. No, not that one. It's the other link. I tell you. They talk about machine learning, learns employee, manage employee knowledge. What do you guys think about virtual reality? We didn't talk about that. A lot of us know it as far as like the goggles and stuff to play games and stuff. Companies do use it as training tools. Medical industry uses it to train people instead of using cadavers and stuff like that required, you required donation of bodies and stuff to actually practice surgery and stuff. Well, now we don't necessarily have to do that because you have artificial, you have the virtual reality glasses and stuff to help you teach that, right? Then we talked about cars already, but virtual reality, where's the value in it, right? Second Life was what's that? Well, and virtual reality is interesting because Second Life was something that somebody created with a specific goal in mind. And here's the thing that happens. Sometimes we create something with a specific outcome in mind. Facebook originally was designed as a communication tool for college students. And quickly, when it became known that it could be so valuable as far as data in that, they started letting high school students and anyone then getting accounts and sharing whatever you want, sharing images, having your friends all connected, everything else, right? It turned into something that went beyond what it was originally meant to be. So did the internet, right? The internet started off to be for military communication, and it ended up being what it is today, a big mess, right? It's full of misinformation, it's full of bad information. You have to take what you read with a grain of salt no matter what you read. You have to research it further. You can't just take, just because it's in print doesn't mean it's gospel, right? You actually have to ascertain whether or not it's believable, and you have to research it for further information. Second Life, one of the goals of that was actually business related. It wasn't just about creating a social environment for people to communicate with each other on an entertainment basis. They were going to have storefronts. People, like businesses and even education, they were looking at having virtual classrooms where you had an avatar that would sit in the class and you would watch and you would learn and you'd be able to be part of the community where you're talking.
You can still interact.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And you build community that way, right? Now, the challenge with building community in a virtual reality environment or even an internet environment, Nina, are you on Facebook right now?
No.
I was hoping you were.
No.
Is anyone on Facebook right now?
Yeah.
Okay. How many friends do you have?
I just know 3,000, so I have like 700.
Okay, so you had 3,700 until recently.
I have like 4,900 something.
Yeah, so you had 4,900 or something like that. How many friends do you have?
In real life,
Yeah.
now, the amount that I have now is 8. So I removed all those people.
So you have 700 acquaintances.
Like 900, yeah.
Okay, so actually know 900 people.
Yeah, because I...
You've shaken all 900 people's hands?
Yeah, here and back home, I know those people.
Like literally shook hands?
Yeah.
Had physical, like face-to-face conversations?
Yeah.
See, that's impressive. I'm proud of you. Just because you have 4,000 friends on Facebook doesn't mean you actually have 4,000 friends.
Of course not.
If you've never shaken hands with somebody, they're probably not going to pay your bail. A real friend would come pay your bail. A real friend would pick you up at the bar. A real friend would pick you up from jail.
I agree, and that's why I removed those people, because...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're sharing information with people you don't know who they are, and
Or they don't care about it.
or they don't care about you, right? Some of us have family members that wouldn't bail us out of jail. Well, take them off your friend list. They're not friends. They're family. There's a difference, right? How many of you actually are Facebook friends with your parents?
That's the only reason why I have Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
well,
for like family.
okay, so yeah, and
But like on Twitter, I block them all.
yeah, see, Twitter, and that's the thing, generationally, it's always been Facebook for my generation, but then people changed it to Snapchat, Twitter, now TikTok, and for some reason YouTube is actually showing TikTok videos instead of just YouTube videos too. You know, when you're in YouTube, the little video lines that are there, a lot of those are TikTok videos, and they actually have the TikTok emblem on them and stuff now. So, people are double dipping on their TikTok videos.
I think Snapchat does too.
Yeah, probably.
They all kind of have the same concept.
Yeah, they all have the same concept. But my thing is this. Just because we create this virtual environment where it seems like we have community doesn't mean we actually have community. Right? Some people are addicted to saying, yes, I want you to be a friend of mine. Because the more people I know, the more important I am. But you don't know that many people. Right? And that's my point, is virtual reality as far as creating an environment or a community doesn't do it by itself. How many of you are gamers? That's a different kind of community. That's a different kind of virtual environment, right? Because you actually have social interactions with people that you've never met before, but you can actually form really good friendships, and somewhere down the road you might meet each other.
Yeah, I met some of my friends.
Yeah. So, and that's an actual community, right? Where you guys you have avatars and that you are in games and stuff, and you create this persona and stuff out there. But that persona truly does represent who you are. Well, some people might lie. Some people might make themselves out to be what they want to be, or what they want to be viewed as, rather than what they are or who they are. But in the grand scheme of things, if you have a true community, you're going to be yourself, right? And virtual reality, as far as social media, you just keep all of that in mind, that just because we think we're making a community, it could be a community of lies, right? You might be friends with how many have watched Catfish, the TV show? Yeah, watch it someday. It's an interesting thing. It's like watching a train wreck, just because it's like, oh my God, really? It'll make you feel better about your life, unless it's happened to you. Then it might make you cry. But anyway, So if it makes you cry, don't hold that against me, it's the show. But anyway, yeah, so it can be used in a negative way. You can be somebody that you're not. And Second Life was one of those things that just kind of took off, and you could be anyone you wanted, anything you wanted, and it's a virtual reality, but it's fake in so many ways. You have people not being honest. And by the way, just like anything else out there, sometimes people have a desire to be something that they're not, or that they won't portray in real life, but they will put themselves out here as that. So, yeah. For some reason, you end up with the fantasy world in the virtual reality sometimes. But needless to say, so Second Life was one of those things. I had a textbook years ago that made you actually create a Second Life account and test it. But I think what I was also trying to get is that you could actually create storefronts and stuff, and you could click on that storefront, and you could literally shop in the store virtually, and you'd walk to a rack, and you'd actually see the clothes that were on that rack. And you could try those clothes on your avatar to see how they would look. But it's like, that avatar's not you, so how do I get my actual image? Bitmoji, how you can create the likeness of you as an emoji type thing. I know that it used to have a feature where it would scan your face, and you could build it off of your face. Or at least one of them had it. And it was a way of making an emoji that truly looked like you, in a comic sense. And now you have to try, use different features that they built in to make yourself. And I'm like, well, that's no fun. I'd rather have a good likeness and then add the character to it, right? So, anyway. Virtual reality, that's my spiel on it. They talk about it and what it is, and what it is in the sense of business and how it's used in business and stuff. I don't think that it actually had as big of a imprint on business and personal life that they thought it was going to have. Second Life, they literally were paying attention to a very specific demographic of people. Role-playing game people were a target market, and even those people didn't necessarily take to this, because they have their own media, they have their own virtual environments and stuff. So creating a single environment where all these different groups can get together, it's like D&D. Does Second Life have a D&D room? Maybe. Does it have a Warcraft room? Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to do some research. I haven't looked at it in so long because it kind of just almost fell off the face of the earth. How many of you actually knew about Second Life? For a while, everyone knew about it. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of bloom, fell off the edge of the earth. And I don't know why. Well, yes, I do. Didn't have much value. The education market, they found, well, it doesn't actually prove someone's sitting in class, and so on. So anyway, questions or anything? Again, I will not be here next Friday. We will have class on Wednesday, and I will tell you on Wednesday again that I will not be here next Friday. Okay?
So we don't have class in programming?
Nope, I'm not going to be here on campus at all, so don't even check my office.
Let's go. So no class Friday.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now.
What's that?
Sleep in Friday.
You can sleep in. It doesn't mean you won't have an assignment, but
I'll complete it Thursday night.
I will make it available by Wednesday, so.
I'll probably complete it Wednesday though.
And when I say by Wednesday, I might have it out there by the end of today, I don't know.
I'll complete it today then.
No, you won't.
You're right.
You won't even check for it today. So anyway, that's all I have today. Hopefully you learned something today. Did anyone